G'day, Chief. Welcome to the Inner Chief podcast and this special episode, which we call The Mini Chief. These are short, sharp highlights from our fabulous guests, where you get a 5 to 10 minute snapshot from their episode. Righto, Chief. Without further ado, here is the Mini Chief episode for this week with Dr Carmel Harrington, executive sleep guru, on the myths and factors of sleep that drive optimal health, joy, and performance. So let's talk about some of the myths or maybe even some of the mistakes around sleep. What about this whole myth that you can catch up? Idea that you could catch up. So maybe instead of having the 7 to 9, I think, well, I'll have 6 hours sleep for most of the week. And then on Friday night, I'll have a good 10 hours and that'll get me back on track. Surely that works, Carmel.
Wouldn't it be great? Wouldn't it be great if it did? It's a bit like, with, say, diet. You say, okay, well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to eat bad food all week, but on the weekend, I'm going to eat good food. The same sort of...
Oh, I'd wrote it down.
Yeah, so we actually can make, if we sleep deprive ourselves all week, and believe you me, a lot of people are doing that. So we know somewhere between almost 1 in 2 of us adults are getting less than 7 hours sleep. So half of the Australian population almost is sleep deprived. And a lot of them try to catch up on the weekend. So they sleep. So you can actually make yourself feel a bit better because you're refreshed, but you miss out on all those things that you did night after night. So, for example, you haven't actually repaired or restored or refreshed your cardiovascular system or your nervous system or your respiratory system, or you haven't produced all the beautiful growth hormones that you needed to have good metabolic health all during the week. You can't catch up on those things on the weekend in a couple of hours sleep. You can make yourself feel a bit better though. And likewise with our brain, the things that we do with our brain, something really important happens when we sleep to our brain. We actually cleanse our brain. What happens is when we are awake, we need to get rid of the waste products from our brain. And when we're awake, we can't get rid of anything from our brain because our brain cells will butt up against each other. So there's no pathway out for these, metabolites that we produce throughout the 24-hour period. But when we sleep, our brain cells retract by about 50%, and it allows our spinal fluid to wash over our brain. And it cleanses our brain, which is like having a shower at the end of the day, which is great. And importantly, it gets rid of this metabolite called beta-amyloid peptide. Now, this peptide is a very sticky protein and it forms clumps or plaques in the brain. And these plaques are implicated in the Alzheimer dementia process. Now, these plaques form up to 20 years prior to the overt presentation of dementia. So if we're not getting enough sleep on a regular basis, we really do suffer the consequences later on, and we can't actually undo that. If we don't do it every night, by giving ourselves 1 or 2 nights of good sleep, it actually doesn't make up for the 5 nights of bad sleep, unfortunately.
You've let it all build up for 5 days.
Yeah, that's right. Absolutely.
Okay, so you're pretty convincing, but I've got one more piece of the pie. Let's just say someone is sitting there going, you know what? Okay, that's fair enough, but I still only can afford 6 hours sleep a night. I'm happy to put up with potential build-up of plaques in my brain. I'm happy to let my body physically not recover. I'm happy to feel tired because on a Friday afternoon when I'm at work in the 3 o'clock meeting, I'm still pretty sharp. I just have a coffee or a Coca-Cola or something. Is that really what's going on? Are they still really as sharp as they could be?
No. And study after study shows that, Greg, and this is the trouble. So a really interesting research was done following on from the first Iraqi war, 1991. So if anyone can remember way back then, there was something called a friendly fire. It was euphemism for the Americans firing on their own troops and killing them. So this was awful. And so the American military put a lot of money into researching what went wrong. Now, what went wrong was put down to lack of sleep. The soldiers had gone into battle not having enough sleep. And so the military then decided, okay, we need to know better how much sleep do we need in order for our troops to be battle ready. What they found after much research was 7 to 9 hours, which is exactly where they started. They didn't want to hear that, right? But along the way, they discovered something really interesting that we were not aware of before this. So what they did is they took two groups of people, and one group of people, they actually deprived of sleep for 2 nights. No sleep for 2 nights. So they maintained wakefulness for 48 hours. Now, before they maintained the wakefulness for 48 hours, they did a speed and accuracy test. They got the results. Then they deprived them of sleep, total sleep deprivation for 48 hours. And at the end of the 48 hours, they had to do the speed and accuracy test again. So how do you think these people felt after lack of sleep for 48 hours?
Well,
It's really bad, right?
exhausted, right? Yeah.
Shocking. And how do you think they performed on speed and accuracy?
I would have thought, well, they would have got themselves up a little bit for it, but still terribly.
Yeah, pretty bad. And guess what? They knew they were performing badly and were saying things like, oh, I can't do this. I just want to go and have a good sleep, blah, blah, blah. Okay.
Yeah.
So then they took another group of people. And what they did is they didn't totally sleep deprive them, but they took away 2 hours sleep per night for 10 nights. Okay. So they actually means that they're only allowed to sleep up to 5 hours. So sometimes they're only getting 4.5 hours sleep per night or 5 hours. That sort of mimics real life, doesn't it? I mean, many of us only get 5 hours sleep per night or 5 a bit hours sleep per night. Before the study period, they had to do the speed and accuracy test. And then after the 10 days of partial sleep deprivation, they were asked to they had to do the test again. Question 1, how do you think these people felt after 10 nights of not getting as much sleep as they needed?
Yeah, most people in a business context, Friday afternoon, tired, but still on top of it.
That's right. So they think they're going okay. They knew they were tired. You know, if they went home, they'd probably sleep, but they thought, I'm not going too badly. I'm pretty all right. Asked how they thought they performed in the speed and accuracy test after the partial sleep deprivation, they all said, oh, look, I could have done better probably, but not too bad. Well, the sad fact is that they actually performed as badly as the people that were totally sleep deprived. That's how bad. Right. So, yeah. So the thing is, though, there seems to be this sort of weird adaptation. We lose our ability to reflect about our sleep deprivation. We actually can't. We don't discern it. So subjectively, we think we're going okay, when in fact we're not. Objectively, our performance is equal to 2 nights of total sleep deprivation.
All right, Chief, there we have it for this week with your mini Chief episode. You can find all the links at chiefmaker.com/389. Chief, do you need to get the right people in the right roles or have some tricky individuals whom you're just not sure how to develop and grow? We have the ultimate resource for you. Go to chiefmaker.com/performance and we have a tool there where you can systemize your performance assessment, work out the right moves to develop and grow and get people moving once again. Check it out at chiefmaker.com/performance. And if you would like to stay in touch and hear all about some of the best resources that you can find anywhere in the world to improve your performance at work, go to chiefmaker.com/subscribe. Now, Chief, if you're yet to rate the episode and subscribe, I hope you'll do so soon. It helps others see the magnificent value that the chiefs and gurus bring to their life and career. So make sure you hit subscribe on your podcast app now, give it a 5-star rating if you think it's worthy, and leave a short review about your favourite episode. Righto, Chiefs, as always, remember to stay epic.